My name is Hassan al-Mikdash. I come from Syria. I came to the United States in 2012 on an F1 visa, and I became an asylee and then a permanent resident of the United States. I came here to do my master's in applied linguistics and work as a GBTI at Texas Tech University. And in 2013, I became an asylee, and a year after that, I became a permanent resident of the United States. Nowadays, I am working to get my PhD in higher ed administration and an MS in statistics and GIS in higher education, and my GIS certificate. I work as a research assistant for Dr. Valerie Payton in the College of Education, and I work as an instructor in the CMLL at Texas Tech. So my experience back home, I came here 2012, June 2012. So I was an instructor at Yarmouk Private University in my country. It's in the city of Daraa, the first city that started the civil activism against the Syrian regime. And I was an instructor of English language there and the coordinator of program, which is the TOEFL program. You know, students take the TOEFL before they come here to the United States. And we had a small, you can say, family business to import supplements from the United States into Canada. Well off, life was good, and things were going well. We had this civil, activism. People were influenced by the Arab Spring, and people saw that as a chance to get rid of dictatorships that are controlling the Middle East. And by the way, who are like very happy to have terrorism in the Middle East. We can talk about this later. So everybody started to imagine the kind of country we might have after this. So, for example, educated people who look at other cultures and other civilizations, a guy like me was dreaming of, well, it would be good, simply, okay, naively, let's say, to have a constitution like the United States or French Constitution, a secular country where women and men are equal, where you can say the president is bad and you don't go to jail forever. And wow, that's amazing. It's time now to have this. So everybody started to go to demonstration. All of my students, like nice students, engineers, people in social sciences, human science, they are amazing people. Students participated a lot in that, especially in universities in the beginning of this civil activism movement, let's say. And I started to see, as an instructor, a lot of my nice students come and telling me horrible stories about what happened to their family members. Detained, went to jail because they wrote something on Facebook like Assad is not a good president, or I don't like the regime. It's something normal that you say every day here. And some of them started to get arrested. We missed students. Where is this student? Where is that student? They are being arrested. So you can't really isolate yourself from what's going on there. So you identified with this group that identifies with the same ideas. You try to support them, at least by words, at least by not reporting them. In Syria, it's a police state. You have to report anything that is like that. So if a student in my class said, I don't like Assad, you have to report that to the government, and then the student disappears. Okay. We started to do demonstrations, support our students, do sit-ins, help them, not report them. That's what they wanted, okay, in the beginning. And I stayed a year and a half during the Syrian civil movement. Suddenly something changed in the country. I was there. Those guys who dreamt of democracies and those guys who dreamt of civil freedoms and a country that inclusive to all the diverse groups, were started to be marginalized, and the sounds of bullets became higher, louder. So the Assad regime shooted demonstrators, they killed them, they cracked down demonstrations, and then we started to have the Free Syrian Army officers defected the Syrian army to form anti-Assad militias. Then you started to have civilians joining this. It's not what some of our groups believed in, which is civil activism until the last moment, Gandhi-style, activism. So a guy like me felt not comfortable because I had my student visa. I didn't need really, if you think about it, I didn't need really to be out of the country. My situation, financial and social, was good really in the country. I didn't have a reason, but I wanted like just to now go study, go for 2 years, study, and see if things would get back by 2 years. That's what I thought. That's my story simply. Like, I don't know if you have any questions to me. I'd just love to share that with you. Between Damascus and Lebanon, but recently it became really hard for them to go to Lebanon. Passing the borders is becoming problematic, really problematic.
And what is life like now in Damascus for your parents?
Damascus, the capital city of Syria, is still relatively safe. No troubles in it. They were in my hometown, then a siege associated with that. But as Tariq said, like implied in his question, the differentiation between like national security and just saying people are worthless or dangerous or I'm a Syrian guy. This is my story. Texas Tech, Lubbock. Nothing is like really unusual about it.
And you were saying you came to America in June of 2012?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you came?
Life or didn't live in good standard of life. They all suffer from too many things like discrimination. The problem is that we appreciate too much United States when they release us from maybe the biggest dictatorship in the Middle East. My colleague talked about Assad and his dictatorship, but I can say it's nothing in comparison what we experienced during Saddam regime. It's nothing, this dictatorship, I can say it's nothing in comparison with the dictatorship of Saddam Hussein. I born in 1975 and I experienced the whole wars that my country that already experienced with our neighbors. First war we got with Iran after 6 months once Saddam became leader, and after 8 years of war we lost a lot of youth, a lot of people, and a lot of infrastructure and too many things. Then Saddam invaded Kuwait. Iraqi people went to another war. After that, we experienced more than 8 or 10 years economical embargo, and many Iraqi people went or escaped to Syria to get better life at that time. After that, we got another war, and fortunately, American released us from this big dictator. What I can say is, when the American released us, the problem is that the people who came to govern Iraq, I can say they are worse than Saddam Hussein. They want to take everything, just want to steal everything. They don't care about the people. Everyone represents different country. His their loyalty is not for their own country. Their loyalty, for example, for Iran, for Saudi, from maybe, I don't know. So, but I can say the people who can escape, the people who have money, who were able to travel and go to another city or other countries. The problem is with that poor people who can't go, more than 1 million people, refugees in their own country. They can't cross the border. And focus on their lives. They live in really miserable conditions. The last time when there were, because yeah, so something inside hurt me, to be honest, and this is what I can say. Yes.
I know you said that you came
Sure, I have my parents over there. I have my brothers, sisters,
So who did come with you?
my wife and 2 kids.
Okay. How often do you get to talk to your parents?
I talk to them maybe, if not every day, maybe between day and day. Because you know they live in Baghdad. Baghdad is a very dangerous place now, so I have to communicate with them because I have many friends and I have many brothers. I have 3 brothers and 4 sisters, so I have to communicate to each of them, and they don't live in one place, different places in Baghdad. So the same thing with my wife; she communicates with her relatives. And
So how hard is it for you